Hello. This time we talk minerals, because this was something that quite a few people asked. In the beginning, you get minerals by digging around. In the underground, there are small packets of different minerals. You usually find iron and copper very easily. There's also coal, and what I would advise you to do is also look for fossil deposits, because they give you bones, which are important, and they can give you diamonds. But digging underground is dangerous because this mod has rock falls. So dirt is perfectly safe and stable, but natural rock formations, if you dig too much, you will get rock falls and stones fall on your head. You can circumvent this by using these things to stabilize the roof. Each support stabilize the roof in like a 3x3 block rate or something like that. 6x6. So you need a lot of these supports for not a lot of minerals. The better way to do it are these. These are excavators. Huge stonking machines that take loads and loads of power. So with one diesel generator you can power 2 of these continuously, but if you just drip feed them power, they will just work a bit. This one is full, so it doesn't work right now, but we'll use it as an example. So this thing mines limonite ore. How do I know what ore is underground? Well, this is where prospecting comes in. You will need a core sample drill, and I'd advise you to make such an HV capacitor. You put down the drill. I don't know which side this capacitor is. It has all sides to output. I right click it. It drills down. Takes a bit. It comes up again. If I right click it again, then I get a core sample drill. Core drill sample. So, and it'll tell you what sort of mineral is in this chunk. As long as you hold the sample, it'll show you the chunk it is from. So this sample has a silt deposit and it's from this chunk. Strangely enough, I already looked at this. It also tells you the coordinates. It tells you how much yield is expected. And it tells you if there's a fluid underneath. I don't think there are any fluids right around here because I sucked them all dry already. This took 9,000 flux. And then I can do it again. So go and check each chunk. If you find a mineral you want, you build an excavator on top of it. And here is its output. And it will, as long as it gets power, plop out materials into this output. If you want it to stop, you should put a gate on it that is connected, that is reading the inventory you have on it and tells it to stop with the redstone signal. You can also invert it so it works with the redstone signal. Any way you like it. You can read up on that in the engineer's manual. If not, this will spit out minerals as long as it gets power. It'll it might drain the whole mineral node, and all your bounty goes away, or it causes extreme lags. So, what minerals do I need? Well, the thing is, you can use NAI for that. NAI has a tool that allows you, if you hover over it, you can ask it how it is made. For example, iron cluster. Iron cluster I can get from hematite, from limonite, from geolysis hematite, and from this strange limonite. Ignore these that only give out one. I don't know why they're in there. But each mineral, each ore cluster has a mineral where it comes from, and you can find it via JAI. Important for the beginning is iron, which I use limonite for, because in the beginning you do not need the uninspected minerals. They are extremely important later, but in the beginning they are waste material. I'd advise you to store them anyway. To get redstone and glowstone, there's cinnabar. Coal, of course, gives you coal. Silver can come from galena. And such like. Sometimes, if you are lucky, you can also find liquid metals underground. And these you can just pump up with a pump jack and fill in, pump around in, what's it called? Tinker's thingies. Like these beautiful tanks that are full of molten ardite, which are pumped out of the ground. Very important to know is that there are two minerals that decay if you are near them. One of them are these granite and autunite veins. These give you autunite ore, which you can then turn into uranium or yellorium, and you'll need a lot of that later. The other that can decay is azurite and malachite. These are ores for copper, and I took them down. These also decay at an alarming rate. They decay much faster than uranium. So do only start searching around the island once you have all the materials ready to immediately start digging those up. Here it says, well, malachite. Let's power this and see if there's still malachite here. You will need tons and tons and tons of copper. It's the most used mineral up to chapter 8, where I am now. Yeah, you see, it's all gone. So, whenever you find a copper vein, immediately exploit it. I went so far as to take off all other miners, and whenever I found copper veins and just had them extract copper. You'll need to put in 2 storage devices because you get 2 copper ores, but you'll need it. You go through so much stuff. But now that you have all your ores, What are you going to do with this? With these minerals? Well, as you can see here, there are many minerals inside storage silos. What to do with them next? Well, you need to crush them. And there are several ways you can go about it. This is one of the way where I hooked up each mineral with a specific crusher and have them only working when I need a specific mineral. You can do this via logic wires that send, so you have requests when you need stuff and have them switched off when you don't need stuff. These crushers are taking surprisingly little power. Thing is, many minerals give you two types of ores, and you need to deal with excess, for example, where these void pipes come in extremely handy because they can destroy items without causing too much lag. I would not advise you to just have these items pop out to the ground. I had to deal with a spill of like 20,000 electrotine at one point and 30,000 redstone. And I only noticed because I had like 1 frame per second to half a frame per second. Voiding automated setups is extremely important. And I don't know why the sound is bugged out. Usually it's extremely loud here. So, yeah. Also, Buildcraft pipes will just connect with these crushers, as do normal hoppers and everything. Later on, you can make a much easier setup, like this. This is connecting to one single crusher that is up there because I don't want it to be as noisy. So everything I throw into here gets sucked up over there, and the products go down here, and it'll get automatically sorted in this drawer network, and everything that isn't going into drawers either gets destroyed. Again, always practice safe voiding or in some kinds of chests. And then you get these ores and you can throw them in the smeltery or whatever you like. Very important are these uninspected minerals. You will need them later. Let's get one of them. Why is that? Because you use them together with silicone to multiply elements. There are a whole lot of different elements that you can just take as soon as you have one of these dusts, and together with uninspected minerals, you can multiply them. Which finally, because copper is also there, relieves you from the stress that your copper reserves decay away underground. You also need it for the crystal matrix reactor, which gives you other dusts and compounds. You'll need some of these compounds in the tens of thousands, and this recipe is extremely important. Also, these unexpected minerals are used to get the rock hounding minerals that you then need to leach and crush and chemically treat to get all the different rare earths and minerals. So each mineral, each ore might have a very big rat's tail of things behind it. But there are also benefits, like if I were to crush nickel. So if I crush one of the mineral blocks, I get these clusters. That's just ore multiplying. But then I can take these clusters and crush them again. Usually that's not too useful, but let's take this copper one. I can just melt it, and each of these gives me 1 copper ore, so I have my ore duplication, which is nice, but I can also throw it in a crusher again. Each of those clusters gives me 2 ingots worth of copper. But I can also throw it in a crusher, get the same 2 ingots worth of copper, and I have a chance to get gold. Now, gold is not too important, but what is important is this: platinum. Platinum is very, very rare. You can get it from bees. You can extract it from some minerals. You can sometimes find it through a shaking table separator, but you can also find it when you crush any kind of nickel ore. Nickel clusters are very, very common. And what I did with most of my nickel is that I crushed it, threw away the nickel grid because I don't need it, but took the pulverized platinum. Pretty much all of my platinum comes just from pulverized nickel. And there are different minerals that have other side products. Like in the beginning you want to crush beryl for emeralds, but later on you want to crush it mostly for the silicon dust, and so on and so forth. So always check JEI for the minerals, and once you have a good production of silicone, this all gets less important, because once you have the dusts or the grids, you can just multiply it with silicone in a carpenter, and you are somewhat less dependent on your mineral deposits. Oh, also for the excavators, you can put them anywhere, above ground, underground, on a floating island. They will just work. The same goes with pump jacks. They don't need to be connected to anything. Right, that's all that I at the moment can think about ores right now. I hope that was helpful.